David used to pray every night at exactly 10 p.m. Not sometimes. Not when he felt like it. Every single night. It didn't matter how tired he was, or how long his day had been. At 10 p.m., he would kneel beside his bed, close his eyes, and talk to God like a son talking to his father. But that was before everything fell apart. David was known as the consistent one. At work, he was dependable. At church, he was present. At home, he was disciplined. People admired him. "Your faith is strong," they would say. And David would smile. But what they didn't see was the prayer behind the strength. Every night, he prayed for three things: his family, his future, and one specific request he never told anyone about. A dream. A calling. Something he believed God had placed in his heart. At first, everything seemed to be moving forward. Doors opened. Opportunities came. It felt like God was answering. Until suddenly, everything stopped. The opportunity disappeared. The support faded. The confirmations went silent. David prayed harder. "Lord, I thought this was from you." No answer. Days turned into weeks. Weeks into months. Still, nothing. One night, David stared at the clock. 9:59 p.m. He sat on the edge of his bed, watching the seconds tick. 10 p.m. For the first time in years, he didn't kneel. He just sat there. Quiet. Tired. Confused. "What's the point?" he whispered. "I've been praying, and nothing is changing." Before we continue with the story, tell me, have you ever felt this way? Type "I have" if you've been there. That night, David went to sleep without praying. And somehow, that hurt more than anything else. Days passed. Then weeks. David stopped praying completely. Not intentionally, it just happened. Slowly. Quietly. He still believed in God. He still went to church. But the relationship felt distant. Like talking to someone who no longer responds. One evening, after a long day, David stopped by a small roadside shop. As he waited, he noticed an elderly man sitting nearby, holding a worn-out Bible. The man looked peaceful. Too peaceful. David couldn't explain it, but something about him stood out. "You look troubled," the man said suddenly. David blinked. "Is it that obvious?" The man smiled. "Only to those who have been there." They talked. Not deeply at first. Just small conversation. Until the man asked a question that hit harder than expected. "When did you stop praying?" David froze. I didn't say that." "You didn't have to," the man replied gently. Silence fell between them. David exhaled slowly. It felt like God stopped listening, he admitted. The words came out heavier than he expected. "I kept praying, but nothing changed." The man nodded, as if he understood completely. Then he said something David would never forget. "Sometimes, God is silent, not because he is absent, but because he is working in places you cannot see." The man leaned forward. "Let me tell you something," he said. "I once prayed for something for 12 years. David's eyes widened. 12. The man nodded. 12 years of silence. No answers. No signs. "So what did you do?" David asked. "I kept praying." David frowned. "How?" The man smiled softly. "Because I realized, prayer wasn't just about getting answers. It was about staying connected." That night, David went home with something stirring inside him. Not clarity. Not answers. But a quiet conviction. At 10 p.m., he sat on his bed again. The clock ticked. 10 p.m. He hesitated. Then slowly, he knelt. His voice was shaky. "God. I don't even know what to say." Silence. "I've been frustrated. Confused. Tired." He paused. "But I miss talking to you." Tears filled his eyes. So, I'm back. It wasn't a perfect prayer, but it was real. Weeks passed. David continued praying. Not perfectly, but consistently. Then one afternoon, something unexpected happened. He received a call. An opportunity. Not the one he had been praying for, but something different. Better. More aligned than he could have imagined. As things began to unfold, David realized something. God hadn't said no. He had said, wait, and then, I have something greater. All those months of silence weren't empty. They were preparation. Sometimes, the most dangerous thing is not that God is silent. It's that we stop listening. Don't let unanswered prayers turn into abandoned faith. Because even in silence, God is still working. So tonight, when the clock strikes your 10 p.m., will you pray? Please do.